Times when sheep were used as natural lawnmowers in London parks, 1926. USA, 1960. Since many older American cities lacked swimming pools, entrepreneurs devised a mobile, pay-to-use swimming pool on wheels. One of the main pieces of evidence against Ted Bundy, American serial killer, rapist, kidnapper, and necrophile, was his teeth. He bit his victims on the chest and buttocks. He even bit off one woman's nipples. Manchester United footballer Eric Cantona attacks a Crystal Palace fan, 1995. 17th century England saw the fashion for plunging necklines and aristocratic pallor. The visible vascular pattern on the skin was considered beautiful, leading women to frequently use a blue pencil to draw veins onto their skin. A long line at Morrisania Hospital for smallpox vaccinations, New York, 1947. US, 1951. Prettiest legs contest. Women wore pillowcases over their heads to keep the focus on their legs. Escape by swimming, 1966. A mother and children from South Vietnam attempt to swim across a river to escape an attack during Operation Piranha. When the photo won a Pulitzer Prize, photographer Kyuchi Sawada went searching for the family in the photo and ultimately gave them half of the winnings. A pipe-smoking endurance contest at Yale University, 1959, USA. The photo shows an emaciated 18-year-old Russian girl after being liberated from the Dachau concentration camp, 1945. Bulgaria, 1940. Exorcism of evil spirits causing back pain with the help of an axe, magical incantations, and burning herbs. The last veterans and witnesses of the 1812 war between the Russians and Napoleon Bonaparte at the centennial celebration of the Battle of Borodino, Russian Empire, 1912. Bomb Beatlemania, a mass hysteria that swept through fans of the Beatles. In this 1963 photo, girls scream, cry, and reach out to their idols in pure ecstasy, barely able to hear the music over the deafening noise. Germany wins on all fronts. Inscription on the Eiffel Tower during the occupation. Many are surprised by the fact that Pope Benedict XVI served in Nazi Germany. A group of Inuit dragging a walrus home to butcher and eat, 1930. Russian roads meet German vehicles, USSR, 1941. The Institute of Oral Love, 1971. Punishment for drunkenness in Chechnya, 1990. White slaves on the plantations of Barbados. Light-skinned slaves were cheaper than dark-skinned ones as they were less resilient and obedient. The shortest war in history, the Anglo-Zanzibar War, took place on August 27, 1896, between Great Britain and Zanzibar. It lasted only 38 minutes. Pictured the Sultan's palace after the shelling. Kenyan President Daniel Arap Moi burns 12 tons of ivory confiscated from poachers. Kenya, 1989. War orphans searching for food, Tokyo, 1946. These kinds of doors helped alcoholics of the past find the keyhole after their alcoholic procedures. School children of Russia awakened by alarm. The photo was taken in 1937. Sad clown. Emmett Kelly tries to help extinguish the Hartford Circus fire. By the time the fire was out, 167 people had died. Even the poor were too lazy to bend down to pick up thousands and millions of banknotes lying on the street. There was nothing to buy with them anyway. A Turkish official taunts starving Armenian children with bread during the Armenian Genocide, 1915. One of the last photos of passengers boarding the American Airlines flight on September 11th, the plane that later crashed into the Pentagon as a result of hijacking. In 1989, the Jack family disappeared after moving to Prince George, where the father took a logging job. After a call saying they had arrived safely, they were never seen again. This remains one of Canada's enduring mysteries. The city of Murmansk after a German carpet bombing, USSR, 1942. 350 tons of bombs were dropped on the city in one day. Experimental aerocycle by de Lackner, which was not adopted for use due to safety concerns for the pilot, USA, 1956. Waitress race carrying drinks, New York, 1967. South Korean women weep as they listen to President Syngman Rhee speak at a memorial service in Seoul, October 17, 1953. The service honored the 33,964 South Koreans killed in the last year of the war. A newspaper seller selling the latest edition, 1939. After the 2010 Pakistan flood, spiders, finding no shelter on the ground, climbed onto trees in the Sindh province. This area became a true nightmare for people with arachnophobia. The killing of frail children was not only common in Sparta. If a woman gave birth to a deformed child in ancient Greece, she would kill it. In Rome, this was mandated by law. 15th century underwear found during castle renovations in Lengburg, Austria, a sensational discovery in medieval fashion history. London after a bombing, 1940. An exam at a high school in the Chinese city of Wuhan, 2008. Martin Luther King Jr. and his son removing a burned cross from their yard, 1960. Hacker Kevin Mitnick hacked the Pentagon network and Colorado Air Defense at the age of 16. After 5 years in prison, he erased his sentence data from the state registry and emptied the bank account of the judge who sentenced him. The photo shows everything that remained of a person who was sitting on the steps 250 meters from the nuclear explosion. Hiroshima, August 6, 1945. Beach in New Jersey, USA, 1910. Wives from the harem of the Persian Shah Nasruddin Shah Qajar, 1870s. German prisoners of war being shown footage from a concentration camp, Germany, 1945. In Italy, pasta was once considered street food. In 1908, like all good street food, it was consumed not with a fork, but directly with bare hands. The day prohibition was repealed, USA, December 5, 1933. Magician Joe Burris is lowered to a grave in a casket as he prepares to perform a stunt. Burris passed away after the casket collapsed under the weight of the concrete poured on top of it. Kashmir Giants with Traveler Professor Rickleton, India, 1903. Frederick Patterson, first African-American car manufacturer. U.S. Lieutenant Jeremy Shales plays baseball inside one of Saddam Hussein's palaces. Iraq, 2003. Nurses carry children during gas mask drills. London Hospital, 1940. Soldiers participate in a staged photograph to illustrate the harmful effects of ignoring a gas mask during a gas attack. France, 1916. Mother and son watch a growing mushroom cloud during nuclear tests. Las Vegas, USA, 1953. The last photos of Adolf Hitler, where he is examining the ruins of Berlin hours before his death, 1945. Ma Barker, the mother of all American gangsters, organized the Barker Gang. She was killed along with her son Fred in a fierce hours-long shootout with FBI agents who surrounded her home in 1935. The arrest of Rosa Parks for refusing to move to the whites-only section of the bus, USA, 1956. Prisoners of the Dachau concentration camp greet their liberators, Germany, April 1945. Manute Bol, the tallest player in NBA history. The basketball player's height was estimated at 7 feet 6.9 inches, 231 centimeters. Merchants prepare for the repeal of Prohibition in Ohio, USA, 1933. The FBI feared that an intimate encounter between Marilyn Monroe and John F. Kennedy was captured on a secret tape. While the footage has never been made public and the FBI denies JFK's presence, rumors of its existence have persisted for decades. Under the supervision of Turkish army officers, Kurdish children write on a blackboard, "How happy is he who calls himself a Turk? Da Turit Shachur Dad." The widely known photograph that changed the perception of AIDS. A father comforts his son, David Kirby, on his deathbed in Ohio, 1990. U.S. Vice President Nelson Aldrich Rockefeller gives the finger to a crowd of hippies during a public speech, New York, USA, 1976. Lunch break during the filming of Star Wars. John F. Kennedy, Dallas, a minute before the shots rang out. Nice, Dan C. She saw the A gruesome photo from the Soviet Institute of Experimental Pathology and Therapy in Sukhumi, 1975. Guillaume Duchenne stimulates muscle contractions with electrical probes to artificially induce facial expressions, circa 1862. A man tries to fill a glass with moonshine poured from a window by a federal agent during the Prohibition era, USA, 1925. U.S. National Guardsmen with a convoy of trucks carrying captured Iraqis, Kuwait, 1991. In 1935, 6-month-old Hesse Taft was chosen as the ideal Aryan baby by the Nazi magazine Sonn ins Haus. The only problem was she was Jewish. Salvador Dali in Paris with a giant 12-meter baguette made in his honor, 1958. A crawling toy, USA, 1871. If you misbehave, it will crawl to you at night. fake heads used during the famous escape from Alcatraz in 1962 were made from wax and left in beds so that the guards wouldn't notice their absence. 3 prisoners escaped the island on a homemade raft. They were never found, and it is believed they likely drowned in the waters of San Francisco Bay. Birthday, September 11, 2001. F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote only when drunk, creating up to 8,000 words after leaving a bar. Sober, he lost productivity. The first photograph of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant after the disaster, morning of April 26, 1986. The photo is grainy due to radiation damage to the film. The mummies of Guanajuato are considered the creepiest. Their distorted faces suggest people were buried alive. In the 19th century, due to unpaid grave taxes, bodies were exhumed and stored in basements, and later, a museum was created from the most frightening ones. A clash between women and police in South Africa, 1962. The women destroyed and burned a brewery to protest police bans on home alcohol brewing. Darisal, the fattest man in the world. This is what a freak show poster claimed in 1890. Interestingly, in our time, this is a quite common physique. In the second photo, they're not pedestrians, but daring owners of bicycles and mopeds. Rwanda, 1994. Bloody footprints stain the ground where people tried to climb walls to escape the massacre. A powerful shot by Annie Leibovitz. Maintenance of Unit 1 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, USSR, 1980s. These frames once symbolized progress. Now they serve as a haunting reminder of the tragedy that followed. A method of restraining a mentally ill person in a British asylum to prevent them from hurting themselves during an hysterical fit, 1950. Edward Bloch, a Jewish doctor and personal physician to Adolf Hitler. He was under Hitler's personal protection, who called him a noble Jew. When Stalin died, the Ukrainian diaspora restaurant in Washington served free borscht, March 9, 1953. Dr. Fukushi Masaichi is a pathologist who founded a unique collection of tattoos taken from the corpses of Yakuza gang members. Tokyo, 1987. The smile of an unknown Jewish girl before being sent to the Chelmno concentration camp, June 1940. Sophia Loren in her natural beauty, around 1955. Salvador Dalí, 1947. Before retreating from Kuwait in 1991, Iraqi troops, on Saddam Hussein's orders, set fire to about 700 oil wells. Toxic smog hung over the Persian Gulf for nearly a year. Oil rains fell on resorts in Turkey and the UAE. 1 billion barrels of oil burned in the Kuwaiti desert. The gift of a Mercedes-Benz from Hitler to Nepalese King Tribhuvan, 1939. This is the first photograph of the moon, taken in 1840. The greatest jazzman in history, Louis Armstrong, leaves an autograph in the form of a drawn trumpet on a fan's head, France, 1961. Photo of a Soviet war veteran near the eternal flame on the anniversary of Victory Day, 1966. Brunettes boycotting the film Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953. Charles King, president of Liberia in 1927 entered the Guinness Book of Records for the most fraudulent election in history, winning 234,000 votes in a country with only 15,000 registered voters. In 1871, American lawyer Clement Vallandigham was defending a man accused of murder after a bar fight. He built the defense on the idea that the victim accidentally shot himself while pulling out a pistol from his pocket in an awkward position. Vallandigham wanted to demonstrate this by placing a gun, which he believed was unloaded, in his own pocket. As he pulled it out, he accidentally shot himself. He died from the wound, and his client was acquitted. German soldiers testing the strength of the gallows before executing suspected Soviet partisans, 1941. If this video brought a smile or maybe even some anger, share your opinion in the comments. Stay locked in for the upcoming part. Remember to smash that like button and subscribe for more. Goodbye.